Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the edge of the Arctic Research Station's observation deck, her breath forming clouds in the frigid air. The aurora borealis danced above, but she wasn't watching the lights. Her attention was fixed on the readings from the deep ice scanning equipment that had detected something impossible. A perfectly geometric structure buried 3 kilometers beneath the ice. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this." Marcus Wong, her lead researcher, burst through the door, tablet in hand. "The energy signatures, they're changing." Sarah hurried inside, following Marcus to the main research lab. The monitors showed a steady pulse of energy emanating from the buried structure, growing stronger with each passing hour. What had been dormant for millennia was awakening. "Have you informed the coalition?" Sarah asked, studying the waveforms on the screen. The International Scientific Coalition had funded their expedition, officially searching for climate data trapped in the ancient ice, but they'd found something else entirely. "They're assembling an emergency meeting. But there's more." Marcus pulled up another screen. "We're picking up signals from deep space. They started right after the structure began pulsing." Sarah felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Arctic cold. Someone's answering. Within hours, the coalition's leadership had convened virtually. Sarah stood before the camera, facing the concerned faces of the world's top scientists and military leaders on the screen before her. "The structure appears to be artificial," she explained, sharing the latest scans. "Its composition includes elements we've never seen before. But what's most interesting is its response to our presence. It's not just broadcasting, it's adapting. The energy signatures suggest it's repairing itself." "Doctor," General Diana Rodriguez interrupted, her face grave. "Our deep space monitoring stations are tracking multiple objects approaching the solar system. They're massive, and they're moving fast." Sarah's heart raced. "How many?" "Hundreds, and they're accelerating." The room fell silent. Humanity had just discovered they weren't alone in the universe, and first contact was approaching at faster than light speeds. Over the next 72 hours, the world's governments scrambled to prepare. Military forces were mobilized, but against a civilization capable of interstellar travel, Earth's defenses seemed primitive at best. Sarah and her team worked around the clock, trying to understand the ancient structure as it continued its mysterious reactivation sequence. On the 4th day, they made the breakthrough. "It's responding to human DNA," Sarah announced to the coalition. "The structure's internal systems activate when exposed to human genetic material. It's almost as if it was waiting for us." She shared footage from their latest experiment. A small drone, coated with a synthesized human protein, had penetrated deeper into the structure than any previous attempt. The internal chambers had lit up, revealing corridors and rooms that defied current understanding of physics and engineering. "This technology," Sarah continued, "it's not just advanced. It's specifically designed to interact with human biology, which raises an even bigger question. Who built this, and why did they leave it for us to find?" The answer came sooner than anyone expected. As Sarah's team decoded more of the structure's symbols and energy patterns, a message began to take shape. It wasn't just a defense system or a beacon. It was a legacy left by beings who called themselves the Guardians. The message was clear. Humanity wasn't just discovering alien life. They were rediscovering their own origins. The Guardians had seeded Earth with human life, protecting and guiding their development from afar. The structure was their gift, an inheritance of power and knowledge, meant to awaken when humanity faced its first true interstellar threat. And that threat was now approaching rapidly. Sarah stood in the newly activated central chamber, surrounded by holographic displays showing the approaching alien fleet. The structure had identified them as the Nexeri, a species known for consuming worlds and absorbing civilizations into their empire. They had detected the structure's awakening, and they were coming to claim it. And Earth for themselves. "We're not ready," Marcus whispered, voicing everyone's fears. Sarah watched as another section of the chamber activated, revealing what looked like a control interface. It pulsed with a soft blue light, calling to her. "Maybe we are," she replied, reaching out to touch it. "The Guardians wouldn't have left this for us if we couldn't use it. We just have to figure out how." As her hand made contact with the interface, the entire chamber hummed to life. Knowledge flooded her mind. Images, concepts, and understanding that the Guardians had prepared for this moment. Sarah gasped as the truth became clear. The structure wasn't just a weapon or a shield. It was a key to humanity's next evolution. The race was on. With the Nexari fleet approaching and ancient technology awakening beneath the ice, humanity had to unlock their inheritance before first contact became first conflict. But as Sarah began to understand the Guardians' gift, she realized that the coming battle would test more than just their new technological powers. It would test what made humans unique in the galaxy: their creativity, their adaptability, and their unwavering determination to survive. The Nexari fleet emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system, their massive ships casting long shadows across the void. Admiral Cthulhu stood on the bridge of the flagship Eternal Dominion, his 4 eyes fixed on the holographic display of the small blue planet ahead. Earth looked insignificant, primitive, except for the energy signature that had drawn them across the galaxy. Analysis of the Guardian technology. Cthulhu demanded, his scaled skin shifting colors with irritation. His science officer, Valsha, approached with a data crystal. "The signal matches ancient records, Admiral. It's genuine Guardian tech, and it's fully activating. But there's something unusual. It's synchronizing with the native species." Cthulhu's upper eyes narrowed. "Impossible. The Guardians vanished eons ago. These humans are barely space-capable." Nevertheless, Valsha insisted, the data is clear. The humans share genetic markers with the Guardians. They're not just random primitives. They're inheritors. Back on Earth, Sarah Chen worked frantically in the Arctic facility's new command center. The structure had transformed itself, creating interfaces that merged seamlessly with human technology. But understanding its full capabilities was like trying to teach nuclear physics to Stone Age humans. The gap in knowledge was staggering. "They're coming in fast," Marcus reported, monitoring the deep space feeds. "The Nexari fleet will reach lunar orbit in less than 48 hours. Sarah nodded, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. The Guardian interface had downloaded vast amounts of information into her mind, but processing it all took time they didn't have. "How's the neural network integration coming?" 23% of Earth's defense systems are now connected to the Guardian matrix, Marcus replied. "But there's resistance from some nations. They don't trust technology we barely understand." "Show me the latest simulation," Sarah ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing Earth surrounded by layers of energy fields, the Guardian's defense system. But the simulation revealed gaps, weaknesses. The system wasn't designed to work alone. It needed humanity's active participation to reach its full potential. In orbit, the International Space Station had become humanity's first line of defense. Commander Elena Rodriguez watched as engineers installed Guardian tech upgrades to the station's systems. The modifications defied conventional physics, but they worked. "Status report," she called over the comm. "Integration at 60%, came the response. "But Commander, you need to see this." Elena floated to the observation module. Through the reinforced windows, she saw it, a shimmer in space, like heat waves on a summer day. The Guardian technology was creating something massive in orbit around Earth. Meanwhile, in the depths of the Pacific Ocean, another part of Earth's defense network was awakening. Dr. James Harper stood in a hastily constructed underwater facility, watching in awe as ancient machinery emerged from the seafloor. Similar sites were activating across the globe, a planetary defense grid that had laid dormant for thousands of years. "It's beautiful," his colleague, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, whispered. "But will it be enough?" James studied the data streaming across his tablet. According to these readings, the Guardian tech isn't just defensive. It's designed to evolve, to learn and adapt. It's not giving us weapons. It's teaching us how to create our own. In Washington, D.C., General Rodriguez faced the United Nations Security Council. The holographic projections of world leaders looked grim as she delivered her report. The Nexeri fleet consists of over 300 capital ships and countless smaller vessels. Their technology far exceeds our conventional capabilities. But the Guardian system is changing that equation. Every hour, we learn more. Every hour, we grow stronger. And if it's not enough, the Chinese representative demanded, if we fail, then we fail fighting, Rodriguez replied firmly. But I don't think we will. The Guardians chose us for a reason. They didn't just give us technology, they gave us understanding. And humans have a long history of surprising those who underestimate us. Back in the Arctic, Sarah made a breakthrough. The Guardian interface wasn't just a control system. It was a library, a history of countless civilizations and conflicts. The Nexeri had been encountered before, and they had a crucial weakness. Their rigid, hierarchical thinking made them predictable. They expect us to either surrender or fight conventionally, Sarah explained to the Global Defense Council. They don't understand what they're dealing with. The Guardian technology responds to creativity, to innovation. It's not about raw power. It's about how we use it. Marcus burst into the room. Dr. Chen. The Nexeri fleet. They're broadcasting a message. The alien transmission appeared on screens worldwide. Admiral Cthulhu's imposing figure loomed large, his voice translated into every human language simultaneously. People of Earth, you possess technology that belongs to the Empire. Surrender it, and you may live as subjects of the Nexeri. Resist, and we will take it by force. You have 12 hours to comply. Sarah looked at the assembled leaders, her expression determined. They think they're giving us an ultimatum. But what they've really given us is time. Time to complete the integration. Time to prepare our surprise. As humanity rushed to ready its defenses, the Guardian technology continued to evolve, shaped by human ingenuity and determination. The coming battle would not be fought with just weapons and shields, but with innovation, adaptation, and the uniquely human ability to think beyond the impossible. The storm was coming, but humanity was not alone, and they were not afraid. The 12-hour deadline approached its end. Earth's cities had gone dark, millions huddled in shelters, waiting. But in secure facilities around the globe, humanity was far from idle. The Guardian technology had sparked an unprecedented wave of innovation, as scientists and engineers worked to merge ancient knowledge with human ingenuity. Sarah Chen stood in the Arctic Command Center, watching the final preparations. The holographic display showed hundreds of Nexeri ships moving into attack formation. But it also showed something else. Thousands of small, mysterious objects scattered throughout Earth's orbit. Decoy satellites are in position, Marcus reported. Each one is transmitting Guardian energy signatures. They won't know which signals are real and which aren't. Sarah nodded. The plan was audacious, relying on the Nexeri's methodical nature against them. Status of the quantum mesh. Online and stable. Every major defense installation is connected. The Guardian tech is. It's like it's learning from us, Dr. Chen. Adapting to how we think. In low Earth orbit, Commander Elena Rodriguez watched from the Enhanced International Space Station as the Nexeri fleet approached. The station's new Guardian tech sensors revealed details that both amazed and terrified her. The alien ships were massive cities in space, housing millions. This wasn't just an invasion force, it was a migration. They're not just here for the technology, she realized. They want Earth itself. Admiral Cthulhu grew increasingly frustrated as his fleet approached Earth. The planet's orbital space was cluttered with devices emitting Guardian energy signatures, making it impossible to locate the true source of the power they sought. This is primitive deception, he snarled. Begin systematic elimination of all devices. We will find the source. But as Nexeri weapons fired on the first decoy satellite, something unexpected happened. Instead of exploding, the satellite absorbed the energy and redirected it through the quantum mesh network. Across Earth, Guardian facilities lit up, powered by the very weapons meant to destroy them. Impossible. Cthulhu rage. These humans, they've weaponized our own attacks against us. Sarah watched as the plan unfolded. The Guardian technology wasn't just about defense. It was about adaptation, about turning an enemy's strength into a weakness. And humans, with their endless creativity, were perfect partners for such a system. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Harper and Dr. Tanaka monitored the underwater Guardian facility as it processed the absorbed energy. The ancient machinery hummed with power, transforming the Nexari weapon's energy into something new. It's not just storing the power, Yuki observed, eyes wide. It's evolving it, changing its fundamental properties. James nodded, understanding dawning. The Guardians didn't give us weapons. They gave us tools to create our own. The first real battle began as Cthulhu, enraged by the humans' trickery, ordered a full assault. Nexari ships launched waves of fighters and energy weapons, expecting to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer force. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented. The Guardian technology, merged with human tactical systems, created defense patterns that seemed to defy physics. Energy shields flickered in and out of existence, appearing exactly where needed, then vanishing. Counterattacks came from impossible angles, as if space itself was being bent. They're using the quantum mesh to coordinate globally, Marcus explained, watching the battle unfold. Every Guardian facility is working in perfect sync, sharing power and information instantly. It's beautiful. Sarah understood then what the Guardians had seen in humanity. Where the Nexari thought linearly, humans thought laterally. Where the aliens saw technology as a tool to be used, humans saw it as something to be improved, combined, reimagined. The battle raged for hours. The Nexari's superior numbers and firepower were matched by humanity's unprecedented use of the Guardian technology. Every attack was absorbed, redirected, or transformed. Every strategy was met with an innovative counter. But victory remained uncertain. The Nexari fleet was vast, and Earth's new defenses, while impressive, were still not fully understood or deployed. As the conflict reached a crescendo, Sarah made a discovery that would change everything. The Guardian interface, she called out suddenly. It's not just showing us their technology, it's showing us their history. The Nexari, they're not natural enemies. They're running from something. Deep in the data streams, Sarah found records of an ancient threat, something that had driven the Nexari to become conquerors. The same threat that had caused the Guardians to see humanity throughout the galaxy. Contact the Admiral, she ordered. I think I know why they're really here. As the battle paused in an uneasy stalemate, Sarah prepared to reveal a truth that would transform the conflict. The Guardians hadn't just prepared humanity to fight. They had prepared them to unite, to bring together the scattered children of the galaxy against a darkness that threatened them all. The true test wasn't just survival. It was whether humanity could rise above mere victory to achieve something greater, understanding. In the depths of space, two fleets faced each other in an uneasy ceasefire. The Nexari ships, despite their overwhelming numbers, had failed to break Earth's innovative defenses. But Sarah Chen knew the next few moments could determine the fate of both civilizations. Admiral Cthulhu, she broadcast, her voice carried across space through the Guardian communication network. We know what drives your people. We've seen the records. You're not just conquering worlds. You're searching for sanctuary. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Cthulhu's scales shifted to a deeper shade of blue, a sign of surprise in his species. How could you possibly know of the Devourers? The Guardians left us more than just technology, Sarah explained. They left us knowledge. History. The same history that connects all of us. The holographic displays in the Arctic Command Center showed the ancient records, a force of cosmic destroyers, moving through the galaxy like a plague, consuming everything in their path. The Devourers weren't just aliens. They were living weapons created by a long-dead civilization that had lost control of their creation. Your people have been running for generations, Sarah continued, conquering worlds not just for resources, but for defense, building an empire to stand against the coming storm. Cthulhu's voice carried a weight of ancient burden. We detected their signals 6 cycles ago. They're approaching this sector of the galaxy. When we found the Guardian energy signature on your world, we thought. You thought it was a weapon, Sarah finished. But it's more than that. It's a key to something the Guardians built into all of us. In the Pacific facility, Dr. Harper and Dr. Tanaka had made a breakthrough. The Guardian technology wasn't just responding to human DNA. It was responding to specific patterns within it, patterns that appeared in modified forms in other species, including the Nexari. It's like a genetic algorithm, Yuki explained over the global network. The Guardians didn't just seed Earth with humanity. They seeded dozens of worlds with various species, each developing different traits, different strengths. We were meant to come together. Commander Rodriguez, watching from the enhanced space station, saw the bigger picture forming. The Guardian tech isn't a weapon system. It's a unification protocol. It's designed to help different species work together, combine their strengths. The evidence was undeniable. When human creativity merged with Nexari precision through the Guardian interfaces, the technology responded in unprecedented ways. New possibilities emerged, far beyond what either species could achieve alone. Your people's strength is your unity, your organization, Sarah told Cthulhu. Ours is our adaptability, our creativity. The Guardians knew the Devourers would return. They prepared us, all of us, to face them together. Cthulhu was silent for a long moment. His empire had spent generations conquering, absorbing, seeking strength through dominance. The idea of willing cooperation, of strength through diversity, was alien to them. Yet the evidence was before him. Earth's innovative use of Guardian tech had matched his fleet's superior firepower. If what you say is true, he finally responded, if the Devourers are truly approaching, how can we trust each other after this conflict? Sarah smiled. We already trust each other more than you realize. Your fleet has been within firing range of our major cities for hours, but you haven't attacked. And we've had the capability to redirect your weapons' energy back at you, but we haven't. We both chose to talk. The next few hours were a flurry of activity. As Nexari scientists and engineers were welcomed into Earth's facilities, the true potential of the Guardian technology began to emerge. The quantum mesh network expanded, incorporating Nexari ships into its web of instant communication and power sharing. Dr. Harper watched in amazement as Nexari crystal technology merged with human computer systems through the Guardian interfaces. Their precision combined with our innovation. We're achieving in hours what might have taken decades. But time was not on their side. Long-range sensors, enhanced by the combined technologies, detected disturbing signals from deep space. The Devourers were coming, their approach hidden until now by humanity's limited scanning capability. 3 months, Marcus announced grimly. Maybe 4. That's how long until they reach this sector. Sarah stood in the Arctic Command Center, now bustling with both human and Nexari personnel. The holographic displays showed the combined fleet. Nexari ships enhanced with Guardian tech, Earth's defense systems strengthened by Nexari crystals. It won't be enough, Cthulhu stated, now standing beside her. Not against the Devourers. We need more. Sarah nodded, watching as another display showed ships lifting off from Earth, diplomatic vessels heading to other worlds, carrying messages of warning and hope. That's why we need to find the others. All the species the Guardians seeded, each with their own strengths, their own piece of the puzzle. The upcoming battle would not just test their technology or their strategies. It would test their ability to overcome centuries of distrust, to forge a unity strong enough to face an enemy that threatened all life in the galaxy. Humanity's first steps into the galactic community hadn't come through peaceful exploration or gradual discovery. It had come through crisis, through the need to either evolve beyond their limitations or face extinction. But perhaps that was what the Guardians had intended all along. 3 months had transformed the solar system. Where once Earth stood alone, now a vast coalition fleet filled the space between planets. Ships of a dozen different species, each bringing their own piece of the Guardian legacy, had answered humanity's call. The Nexaries' message carried weight in the galaxy, and when their empire called for allies rather than submission, the response was unprecedented. Sarah Chen stood on the observation deck of the new Coalition Command Station, watching as another fleet arrived through the Quantum Gateway. The crystalline ships of the Meridian Collective, their organic technology a perfect complement to the growing Alliance's capabilities. That makes 17 species now, Marcus noted, reviewing the data streams. Each one with their own Guardian installations, their own evolutionary paths. The Devourers were less than a week away. Long-range scans showed their true horror, massive biomechanical constructs that consumed everything in their path, breaking down matter and energy to fuel their endless expansion. They weren't just an army, they were a force of entropy given purpose and direction. Admiral Cathur, now serving as Coalition Fleet Commander, joined them on the deck. "The simulations are ready. Would you like to see how we die, Dr. Chen?" Sarah smiled slightly at his dark humor, a trait the Nexarii had begun to develop through their interaction with humans. "I'd rather see how we win." The holographic display activated, showing their combined forces facing the Devourer fleet. The simulation played out dozens of scenarios, each ending in defeat. The Devourer's ability to adapt and absorb any technology used against them made conventional victory impossible. "But that's just it," Sarah said suddenly, watching the patterns of defeat. "We've been thinking about this wrong. The Guardians didn't give us weapons to destroy the Devourers. They gave us the tools to understand them." In the Pacific Command Center, Dr. Harper and Dr. Tanaka had made a similar realization. Working with scientists from across the Coalition, they had discovered something extraordinary in the Guardian genetic patterns. "The Devourers aren't just weapons," Yuki explained over the quantum network. "They're trapped. The civilization that created them built them too well. They can't stop consuming, can't stop expanding. It's coded into their very being." "But the Guardian technology," James continued, "it's not just about combining our strengths. It's about evolution, adaptation, change. What if we could use it to help the Devourers evolve beyond their programming?" The idea was audacious, perhaps impossible. But as the Coalition's greatest minds worked together, a plan took shape. The Guardian installations around Earth and other worlds weren't weapon platforms. They were transmitters, designed to broadcast a signal that could rewrite the fundamental coding of the Devourers. Commander Rodriguez, coordinating the space station's defenses, saw the risk immediately. To broadcast a signal strong enough, we'd need to let them get close. Really close. Inside the orbit of Mars, Sarah confirmed, and we'd need to hold them there long enough for the signal to take effect. The Coalition had 4 days to prepare. Every ship was modified. Every weapon calibrated not to destroy but to contain and redirect. The Guardian technology, now fully integrated across the fleet, would be pushed to its limits. When the Devourers arrived, they came like a storm of darkness, their massive forms blotting out the stars. The Coalition fleet moved to engage, but not to attack. Instead, they created a vast web of energy fields, channeling and redirecting the Devourers' attempts to consume and absorb. Hold the line. They're commanded as ships from every species worked in perfect coordination. They must not break through. The battle was unlike anything in galactic history. The Devourers fought with mindless fury, but the Coalition responded with calculated precision. Human creativity combined with Nexarii discipline, Meridian biotechnology merged with dozens of other species' unique abilities, all coordinated through the Guardian network. In the Arctic Command Center, Sarah and her team worked frantically to perfect the signal. The Guardian technology responded to their efforts, combining the genetic knowledge of 17 species into something new, a key to unlock the chains that bound the Devourers to their destructive purpose. Energy levels at maximum, Marcus reported as the installations around Earth powered up, broadcasting in 3, 2, 1. The signal pulsed outward, carried by the quantum mesh network through every ship, every installation, every piece of Guardian tech in the system. The Devourers' advance faltered as the signal reached them, their biomechanical forms shuddering. "It's working," Sarah whispered, watching the readings. "Their base code is rewriting itself. They're changing." The transformation was spectacular. The Devourers' dark forms began to shift, their consuming maws closing, their purpose changing. The civilization that created them had programmed them to consume, but the Guardians had given their children the tools to set them free. Hours later, as the dust settled, the Coalition fleet surrounded something new. The Devourers had become something else, still massive, still powerful, but no longer driven by an insatiable hunger. They were, for the first time in their existence, truly alive. "So what happens now?" Marcus asked, standing beside Sarah as they watched the transformed beings communicate with the Coalition fleet. Sarah looked out at the assembled ships of 17 species, at the former Devourers now peacefully orbiting among them, at the Guardian technology that had made it all possible. Now we truly begin. The Guardians didn't just prepare us to survive. They prepared us to thrive, to grow, to become something greater than we could have imagined alone. Admiral Cthulhu joined them, his scales shimmering with colors that reflected satisfaction and hope. "Perhaps that is why they chose humanity to find the first installation. Your species has an extraordinary capacity to see beyond the obvious, to find solutions where others see only problems." As celebrations erupted across Earth and the Coalition fleet, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. The Guardians had left their children a legacy not of weapons or power, but of possibility. The possibility that different species could work together, could overcome their natural fears and rivalries, could face any challenge if they faced it together. Humanity had taken its first steps into a larger universe, not as conquerors or victims, but as innovators, problem solvers, and bridge builders. The stars beckoned, and this time they would explore them not alone, but with allies who had become friends, united by the legacy of their common ancestors and the promise of an even greater future.